Hello. I just wanted to address something that's been brought to my attention from someone who I consider to be a friend. And that is that basically some of these videos that I've been putting out there, can be perceived, it could be perceived that I'm coming across kind of thuggish, a bit like a hooligan, that kind of thing, and also that the material that I've been putting out there, specifically the 90-second videos that I've been putting out, could be picked up by the wrong kind of people, that it isn't my intention to get hold of this kind of information. Just wanted to address that real quick. 1. I'm from East London. People from East London and other parts of London, for that matter, from around my generation, I'm 30 years old. Basically, we talk a certain way. There's a bit of a Cockney accent. At the same time with the Cockney accent, you got a bit of a new age accent that's come across, which has now become the London accent. This by many people that are not from those certain kinds of areas, which is a working class area of London, or say they had a different upbringing to myself. They would see the way that I talk as a street way, let's say, a street way. They would say that it's basically the gritty, the more criminal type of accent. Alright, that's one thing I want to say. Now, I'm from East London, as I said, born and raised, and the bottom line of it is that no matter how many books I would read, different places I would go, I'd maintain this accent wherever I go, because this is my accent that I grew up speaking with. It's not that I am a gangster, I'm not. It's not that I'm a bad man, I'm not. I'm actually a good guy, I'm a nice guy, trying to help people out. And it just so happens I like to keep my hair short, sometimes completely off, or sometimes as it is now. I like tattoos. I've got tattoos. I got my first tattoo when I was underage to have tattoos. That's whatever. I'm not the only person to have tattoos. I'm not the only person to have a shaved head, and I ain't the only person to speak like this. In terms of one other aspect that he mentioned was the fact that right now, the same lighting that is in here now, although I've actually put a few more lights on, I'm actually in my car right about now. You can see the steering wheel here. Reason being is I film these parts of the video, the more detailed parts of the video, when I just finished work. I just come off the job. And when I say just come off the job, I'm a doorman, or some parts of the world, or ignorant people would say a bouncer. There's my badge. There's my radio. Just found a parking space, I'm about to go home. But this is the time where it's reasonably quiet that I can actually record, because, you know, I'm a family man, I've got kids. And there'll just be a little bit too much noise, and I can't do it around the house and stuff like that. But yeah, so right now is the time that I record these videos, these parts of the videos. When I'm doing the 90-second clips, I've got 90 seconds to get across what I'm trying to get across in that time. Now, it's a very short period of time. I can't teach a convoluted, long-winded technique or method within 90 seconds. It's just not long enough time. I need to give a detailed explanation. So when I'm doing 90-second videos, it's got to be brief, it's got to be to the point. I don't sugarcoat things. I don't sugarcoat things anyway. Apparently it comes across, like, as I said earlier, it comes out that I'm a bit thuggish or whatever. For me, I say, look, this is how I am, this is how I talk. I don't mean to come across in a certain way, but if that's what you're feeling from me talking and acting a certain way, I should find that offensive, but luckily I don't. In terms of the disclaimer, when I say do not try this at home, I mean it. Don't try this at home. So there's a new spin on it. Anyone who comes who trains with me, or any of my colleague instructors in Urban Krav Maga, or anyone that will go and train with us in the future, or has trained with us with rec, rolling elbows concept, we speak to them first. And as I said, I've been a doorman now consistently since 2005 when I was 21 years old. In doing so, and in my life experience in general, growing up where I grew up and stuff like that, I've got quite good at judging characters and getting into what people's intentions are and so on and so forth. And that's a major aspect to the type of training and the reality behind the way that we train and stuff like that. And the methods that we use and the tactics and the techniques. If I feel that somebody who's coming to my class to train, or comes to a seminar or anything to train, and I feel honestly that they're going to be using this information for anything other than good, anything other than the protection of themselves or their loved ones, I would simply, if I'd taken any payment from them, I'd give them their money back and ask them nicely to leave. Yeah, because morally that's not where I'm coming from at all. If I get any kind of attitude or any kind of like wrong energy from them in terms of like their aura, anything like that, I'd question them, find out what their intentions are, and take it from there. To be honest, I would much rather be poor than take money for doing wrong. I'm way beyond, way past that kind of mentality. I'm not a materialistic person or anything like that, to be quite honest. I've worn the same I've worn the same sets of clothes for years. I really don't do anything. I'm always in my work uniform, or I'm in my Krav Maga uniform, or my rec uniform is quite pretty much just like that, really. In terms of also this information being picked up upon by others, that shouldn't really, I wouldn't really want to get this information. Well, the fact is, it's 2014. We live in the information age. We've got the internet. We've got endless access to certain types of information that are out there. You can find this information out in anywhere that you look for it, to be quite honest. And as a matter of fact, when I'm putting out these videos and the information that's on these videos, there's a big difference between watching something and having a go yourself from watching it, and actually participating in a class where you would learn how to do the said techniques properly, and you'd be under the supervision of a qualified instructor such as myself, or my colleague instructors, or instructors of other systems that are out there. Some that I rate and I have a good level of admiration for and respect for. Some others that are out there are quite frankly not really good information, not really what I would consider to be quality or realistic approaches to certain situations. In terms of the lighting aspect, yeah, I'm in a car, it's nearly 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, it's pretty much, unless I was to like get a film crew in and all that there, but this would be a different setup altogether. It was brought to my attention that this could look a bit sinister because of the whole lighting behind what's going on here. That's pretty much that. My intention is not for this information to be used for wrong. My intention is this for people who are looking for realistic ways to train, to protect themselves and their loved ones, then you're gonna come and see a man like me, hopefully. And it's just a little insight into it. It can also be used as a reference to go back to certain things. Like, I mean, to be quite honest, I don't put out all the information on everything that I do talk about when I talk about it, because at the end of the day, these videos are set for YouTube. They're not set for, I'm not selling them as DVDs. This is information that I'm just putting out there as a basic, so you get the understanding, you get the idea, that you'd come along, and if you trained with me, you'd get a deeper, let's say, you get more depth of knowledge coming from me, and I'll adjust you accordingly. One more thing on that actually as well. When people come to me to train, and I've been instructing now since 2008, I first got a qualification to instruct. Of course, I've been doing martial arts for quite a reasonable amount of time above and beyond that. So, but that's beside the point. I took a shift in mentality to the reality-based stuff due to my environment growing up, to be honest. And I'm not talking about my home life. I come from a loving home. Yeah, I'm talking about as soon as I opened up my door and I stepped out onto the pavement and I'm walking from A to B, what I'd encounter would require me to train in certain methods, which is why my dad put me in training at a very young age. From a moral standpoint and a legal one, see, what you're about to see should only ever be used to protect yourself and or your loved ones. Us.